Ready to take your open house game to the next level? Stay tuned.
This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now, and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I'm your guide. I'm your host through the show. And in just a moment, you're going to hear my live conversation with Mary Lou Dingman. Now, this is a special episode that we did where we had a live webinar for our audience. And if you missed it, well, here's your chance to hear it again. And what did Mary Lou talk about? By the way, who is she? She is a coach for the locker room. She is a top real estate agent coach. She is going to talk all about open houses and exactly what you can do to crush your next open house. So this was recorded live and we are excited to bring this to you. Before we get to that, as always, please tell a friend about this podcast. We appreciate you letting other agents know about us. That's how we grow and we can do more episodes the more people we reach. So thank you for that. And leave us a review. Let us know what you think of the show. We appreciate and read all your comments and make changes based on your suggestions. And lastly, follow us on wherever social you are paying attention to. These days, we're on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and probably others. So just search for Keeping It Real Podcast. We have different names on different social channels. Find us, subscribe. We post content every single day there. So anyway, let's get to it. My conversation with Mary Lou Dingman. While we're waiting, I encourage everyone, if you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, to please do so. Just pull up a podcast app, search for Keeping It Real, and you know what? I'll actually put something in the chat. I'll put my link tree in there. You can actually just click on that and do that as well. I would appreciate it. And also tell a friend. We really appreciate you letting other agents know about our show, and we are one of the largest ones in the industry, if not the largest. So we're very grateful to you for sharing that with other agents on our behalf. That really helps us out. So I'm going to put this in the chat, and I think it's the right link. And if not, I'll put the right. Well, you know what? I'm going to test it real quick because I don't always know my links. And we'll get started here in just a minute. It's the right link. Okay, cool. So here it is in the chat. You guys can subscribe to my show through lots of different methods via that link. So I want to share with you guys a story before bring on Mary Lou about the company Mary Lou works with, which is called The Locker Room. So we got very lucky here in Chicago. So a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, The Locker Room is, by the way, if you don't know The Locker Room, they are a coaching company for realtors, for brokerages. They work all over the country. They are amazing. And they came to us with a really interesting proposition. They go, we don't really want to hire a sales team and have to sell our services all over the country to all these different agents. It's just a lot of work and just not really what we want to do. We want to focus on really just one brokerage per market. And we thought that's a pretty smart idea, And so we got really fortunate and said, well, let's take a look at their content. Let's see how good it is because we weren't that familiar with it. And we started looking into their courses. And oh my God, we were so blown away that we were like, we want to be the exclusive provider because we didn't want anyone else getting access to it. So we got really, really lucky, and we are now the exclusive provider of The Locker Room for the Chicagoland area. We're so grateful to The Locker Room. They have over, no kidding, 40 different training programs. They are so insanely good. They do live events. They do on-demand events. They have stuff like almost every day of the year. They even do in-person events too. In fact, one of our managing broker is heading to an in-person event they're doing right now. So they are just incredible. They also have this really cool online community too. So The Locker Room is just amazing. So if you're not familiar with them, I'm going to share with you some links on joinkale.com. That's our recruiting site. You can actually link links directly to The Locker Room, and you can see sort of more of what they're about. You can actually check out some of their courses, and gosh, they are the real deal. And so we're just so lucky to have them. So today we have Mary Lou Dingman from The Locker Room on our podcast here to talk about open houses. But let me tell you more about Mary Lou because she is amazing, and she has an amazing reputation. So she's a 22-year veteran of real estate. She has worn many industry hats as an on-site agent, a buyer specialist, and a solo agent. And in 2017, her passion shifted to coaching, training, and teaching. She's been a coach with The Locker Room since launching her coaching career, has not looked back since. Her clients are the leaders of brokerages. The people she coaches are names that you know in your market. She is that big of a deal. And the agents that her agents serve. She's an approved instructor for the North Carolina Real Estate Commission and has written her own 4-hour CE elective course on the DISC personality assessment, which is really awesome. Great way to categorize and understand your client's behavior and sort of motivations. Mary Lou still works with buyers and sellers on a referral basis and past client basis, but she is really a full-time coach. She considers herself a real estate sponge and loves any and everything with the real estate industry. Mary Lou, welcome to for the first time on Keeping It Real.
I know. I am so glad to be here. I could not be more excited. And I went to the dentist this morning and my mouth was numb, and I was like, holy cow, that was probably not a good idea for me to go to the dentist on the same day, but my mouth is back to normal now. Thank goodness.
I've actually done an episode. I had to get a Novocaine shot for a cavity. It's funny, I've only ever had one cavity, but I had to get it refilled recently, and it was the same day as a podcast episode. And so I got through it, but you certainly probably wasn't my best sounding voice day, but you sound great. So yeah, welcome.
I'm good, thank you. And I came from a radio background. So I used to be a DJ. So
Ah,
I did radio and real estate, two of the coolest professions. And my two passions in real estate are literally the disc and open houses. So I'm really so grateful that I can share about open houses here today.
awesome. I am going to pull up a presentation that Mary Lou is. Do you want me to pull it up, Mary Lou, or would you like to pull it up?
You are more than welcome to pull it up.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up and give me just a second, everyone. We're going to get that rolling, and I'm going to be the.
Yes, that's
There it is.
perfect.
Hang on just a second. I'm going to make it a little bigger.
Yep.
There we go. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Lou.
One thing before I get going. So do I need to tell you when to switch screens or?
Yeah, just let me know, and
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay. So I'm here to talk about the top 10 agent open house mistakes. Let me give y'all just a little bit of background. And yes, I say y'all because I'm from North Carolina. I started out in new home sales. So I got really comfortable with people walking into my sales center and really navigating and guiding that conversation. And so when I transitioned to become a buyer specialist doing open houses, it became very natural. And I saw that I did open houses very differently than a lot of agents did. And it's one of my top 10 agent open house mistakes. It's number 4. So when I get to number 4, I'm probably going to get really passionate about it. All right. So we're going to get into the top 10 agent open house mistakes. And number 1 is, and you can go ahead and flip the screen now, it is not actively lead generating for open houses. Listen, you don't have to have listings in order to do open houses. You may be in a small brokerage, you may be in a great amazing brokerage like Kale where there are listings all over the place, and you want to be very selective about it. You don't want to just throw out on your social media page, hey, does anybody have any open houses I can do? Find the awesome listings, find the agents that have the open houses in the areas where you want to do it, and set up a search to come back to you, right? Set that search up so that it comes to you. And before you know it, you'll have agents reaching out to you and saying, hey, I have this house coming on. Do you want to do the open house? So I just want you to think about the fact that you can lead generate for your open houses within your brokerage.
Yeah,
And you
Mary
want
Lou,
to,
I want to pop in for just a second because
yes,
this is such an important thing, especially if you're a newer agent. And as Mary Lou
yep,
said, maybe you don't have listings to do open houses.
yep,
You want to set up searches in your MLS system for your brokerage, for the areas that you service, as she said, and you want to get notified when those listings go live. You also want to develop relationships with those agents and say, I
yes.
want to help you try to sell this property. I
Mhm.
I would love to do an open house for you. Can I do that? May I, now you might have to ask a few times, right?
Yep.
It's something I will tell you, I interview the top 1% of agents all over the country. They are so flattered and excited when somebody in their office says, I want to do an open house for one of your listings. I know it seems like it seems like that might be a tough thing to ask. It isn't. I promise
No,
you, and talk to your managing broker. Say, hey, is there anyone that has listings that I could help with? Guys, I've never met a top 1% producer that doesn't do open houses. I just haven't met them.
amen. It's true. It is true. We have an amazing agent in our market, and to this day, I mean, she's a multi million dollar high volume, and she still gets out there and does open houses. I love it, and I love seeing her do it. All right, number 2 is not incorporating virtual open houses. Y'all, that's the beautiful thing about doing virtual open houses along with your in person. Or, you can do that. Or what if the home goes under contract, right? If it goes under contract, you already have that exposure because you've done a virtual open house. What you're looking for is eyeballs and presence. You want that presence. You want to be known as someone who does open houses and gets that open house out to as many people as possible. You can do standalone virtual open houses. I remember I had an agent in coaching, and it was right around the Christmas holidays, and I challenged her. She was so much fun to coach because she was always up for a challenge. And I challenged her to do 3 virtual open houses, like, that week or 2 weeks in between Christmas and New Year's when everybody's like, you don't even know what day it is. And so she scheduled 3 virtual open houses. She had so many views on that. She actually picked up, I believe, 2 or 3 buyer clients and a couple of sellers just from doing those virtual open houses. And you can run the same play on a virtual open house as you do at an in-person open house. And I'm going to share my calendar with y'all, and your mind is going to be blown. So you can also do them in vacant homes. Make that vacant home your office for the week. Use your hotspot, go work, pick up traffic. Yeah, just make sure that you are using every opportunity to get as many eyeballs as possible. All right, number 3, not stepping up your game. Listen, I've done it, coming in hot on 2 wheels, right? But make sure that that open house is visible. Make sure you're posting it on social media. You're inviting your sphere of influence. You're inviting former open house visitors, right? You want to invite a minimum of 25 neighbors to the open house, right? For a sneak peek. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. But you're lead generating for listings when you do that. And when you do invite the neighbors, they're going to be like, wow, this is what this agent does to sell homes. So when I'm ready to list, I'm going to list with that agent, whether you were the listing agent on that property or not, but you were the one that was out knocking on their door, right? So use all those opportunities. And, pinwheels are great to use instead of, going and blowing up balloons, but make sure you're following your sign ordinances in whatever your municipality is. Typically, I will door knock at the same time I'm putting my signs out. So I'll usually do those 2 things together. All right.
The door knocking is great for a couple of reasons. First, it lets people know, hey, I'm going to be here on this day and time. There's going to be probably a lot of traffic here in the neighborhood. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. But what I'm here to do is to try to sell so-and-so's home and really help raise the property value of everyone here in the neighborhood by getting the highest price possible. So we're going to try to create an event here. And by the way, please come by. We'd love to see you. When people are nosy, they like to see what their neighbors' homes look like. So it's a great way to generate additional traffic and also say, hey, by the way, I can run a CMA for your property. If you want to see what your home's worth, I could do that for you too.
So brilliant and such a great approach and such a great script and a best practice to put into place when you're talking about open houses. So here it is, y'all. So before you go to this slide, I'm going to tell y'all my mantra in life and in real estate, especially in real estate. There are people that I am meant to help, and all I have to do is my part to find them. And what I found is that I found a lot of them at open houses. So number 4, this is what makes me very different than most agents. Oh, there's my open house calendar right there. It'll show up again, but I'll get back to it. Go one more slide if you would, DJ. There you go. Perfect. Not asking for the appointment at the open house. What I hear all the time is, and listen, y'all, the more people that come into the open house, that's what you want. You want all those eyeballs, but you're chasing people as soon as they walk out the door, right? You are chasing them to set an appointment. Why not ask for the appointment right when they're there? Go ahead and ask them for an appointment. This is my script. I'm going to tell y'all my script right now. When they come in, hey, my name is Mary Lou Dingman with MLD Real Estate. This is not my listing. I am holding this open on behalf of a colleague. I find a lot of clients that I'm meant to help. when I do open houses. I'm going to let you go ooh and ah right now. Go look through the home. Meet me back in the kitchen. I want to hear your feedback about this home, and we will set up an appointment to see if we're a good fit to work together. I told them I was going to be asking them for an appointment. So that ask is so much easier when they come into the kitchen and I get their feedback about the open house and I say, "Hey, let's sit down and see if we're a good fit to work together." Now, you may have some scripts that you need to have. If they say, "Well, my cousin's an agent, I'm going to use my cousin," or "Oh, we're not ready for 9 months." And I have those scripts and I wrote them myself. But look, all you're doing is you're sitting down to see if you're a good fit to work together. And really, if you get one appointment at every open house you do, and you do open house, and you get one appointment and you do 4 open houses a month, and you do it 10 months out of the year, you've now got 40 appointments. And if your conversion ratio is strong, you could build your entire business around doing open houses just by asking. When somebody is face to face with you, it's so much easier to ask for the appointment. And you will be surprised how many people will say yes. And I'm going back to the disc thing. I have had so many agents come up to me that are a softer personality type. I mean, I know I'm pretty outgoing and I've got a lot of energy. But agents that have that S personality type, they are the people type, but more of the introverted people type. I love it when they come up to me and they say, "Mary Lou, I asked for 3 appointments and I got them. They said they'd love to meet with me." And I'm like, "Of course, ask and you will receive." And if they say no, doesn't mean that they won't come back and that you can't get them for an appointment later. But while you have that opportunity and they're right in front of you, go ahead, do me a favor, prove me wrong. When you do an open house, next open house you do, ask for an appointment. And I would not be surprised if you set an appointment just from that. And as I said, you're making the ask easier if you tell them before they even go tour, "Hey, when you meet me back in the kitchen, we're going to talk about an appointment time." And by the way, do I have my calendar blocked with appointment slots just from the open houses? You're doggone right I do. So then there's no fiddle around on your calendar going, let's see, I can fit you in here. See, I told you this is when I start getting fired up, when I start talking about this. And you want to ask those questions to dig deeper, right? And my new home sales experience helped me with a lot of this, but you are guiding the conversation and you are navigating it. You are giving them, making them comfortable, learning more about them, and then just saying, "Hey, let's be curious. Let's sit down and see if we're a good fit." So there you go. That if you take anything away from this, that's what I want you to walk away with. All right. We could get, yep, there you go. Not practicing scripts. I told you, you're going to get some objections. There will be some things that happen. They'll say things like, "We just started looking," or "We're just getting an idea of what's out there." And listen, the more you practice scripts, the more of an active listener you are. It makes you a better listener if you are not thinking about what you're going to say, that you have it so embedded in your brain. No different than Tom Hanks winning Academy Awards and Meryl Streep for internalizing scripts and then making it their own because it's so deeply embedded in their brain. But I have scripts for all of these things here. We're not ready yet. Well, in a perfect world, tell me, when will you be ready? Right? It's asking the questions. We're not moving until next year. Great. Tell me what's going to be different next year. But you know what I do? I'm still going to ask them for an appointment, even if they say they're a year out. And I say, listen, when you go on vacation, a lot of times you're looking up flights, you're looking at your hotel, you're trying to figure out what activities you want to do. Buying a home or selling a home is a huge, major financial investment. Let's go ahead and meet now. When you are ready, we'll have all those pieces in place.
I want to
Right?
give the audience a quick little tip. One of the interviews I've had with a top producer, they get this is a funny one that they do at open houses, and you have to sort of get it down, but it works really, really well. So any of those objections that you're seeing on the screen there, we just started looking, we're not ready yet, we're not moving until next year, we're just getting an idea of what's out there. This person does the same response every single time, and he says it works wonders. And he pauses and he looks up to the sky and he goes, huh? And he goes, you know, and he says, you know, and then he stops himself in the middle of, you know, he goes, you know, he goes, I have a few ideas for you. I want to go back to the office. I have to check something, but I have a couple of ideas. Let's schedule just a few minutes. I want to go over these with you in the next couple of days. And he says, and then they go, well, what are the ideas? He's like, yeah, I want to double check something, but I have a couple ideas for you. So people, of course, are going to be so naturally curious. You are going to get that appointment. So something to think about. I just thought that was a cute way of handling an objection.
Well, you just saw my mouth hang. I'm like, what's the idea? I got to
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's so true. And, and do practice affirmations. Look, I don't care, y'all. If you think affirmations are cheesy, they're not. Because before I do an open house, I say, there are people that I am meant to help. I come from value. I am powerful in person. People need me before they even know it. Do you think that I could be standing here talking as passionately about open houses if I didn't believe those things? So affirmations are not cheesy and scripts are not either. They are powerful and they will help you be the agent that you were created to be. All right. Ooh, I'm all fired up now. All right. Yes. All right. Not arriving at least 30 minutes early, y'all. Come on. I mean, I said earlier, I've done it. I've been coming on hot, two wheels, rolling in, but give yourself at minimum 30 minutes. You should be there early. And I haven't even talked about the neighborhood sneak peek yet. That's what you do when you're knocking on the neighbors' doors and you take them a flyer and you say, hey, I'm holding the open house tomorrow. There may be more traffic. I'm holding it from 12 to 3. I am holding an exclusive neighborhood sneak peek from 11:30 to 12. And, I'm counting on you being there. And I really want to hear what you love about the neighborhood. So if you're doing a neighborhood sneak peek, then you need to be there at 11, because then you do the sneak peek at 11:30, and then you're ready for the open house at 12. I like doing the owners in the neighborhood, giving them that separate time so that when you do have traffic coming in, you can concentrate on the people that are coming through the door. Also, the only things I leave on the countertops are sign-in sheets on clipboards or a sign-in app if you want to use a QR code. Open house notebook. I have a notebook and, with the sheet protectors, with everything in and, lights on, music playing. Newsflash. I don't leave flyers and stuff laying around that they could just pick up, because once they stick their nose in that flyer, they don't have to engage with you at all. So I will give them information, but once again, I am guiding them through that open house so that I have an opportunity to hear more about what they need and what they're looking for, and to set an appointment. I put anything, if it's not my listing, I put all the materials from the listing agent just for that open house. I tuck them in a drawer. I will take the lockbox off the door so that they feel more comfortable. If you've ever done an open house and people ring the doorbell, why do they do that? Because they feel like they're coming into somebody's house and they're not comfortable. Well, Make it make it comfortable. That's the way we like to do things here in North Carolina. It's like, come on, y'all, everybody come on in. So just make sure you're there early enough to set the stage. Okay.
I love the idea, Mary Lou, of doing the owners ahead of time, because you probably get a lot of good information about the neighborhood, and
Yep.
just kind of, and you could also say, hey, I'm going to be kind of partly responsible for the next person that buys this place. So I'd love to hear from, from you guys, like, what are you looking for in a neighbor? What's special about this property? You could just engage with them and try to, develop a rapport with them as well.
I mean, I know you were talking about, becoming the mayor of your town. Well, this can make you a mayor of a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And if you do an open house in a neighborhood, I mean, and you like that neighborhood, you like the vibe, you might be like, I'm going to start farming this neighborhood. And it makes it a lot easier for you to do that if you've had some rapport with those neighbors already because they came to the sneak peek that you did for the open house. So, yeah, so that's number 6. All right. And here comes number 7. I know it's tough in this market because, oh, by the way, I want to show you that picture that you see, that was me at an actual open house that I did. And I sit on the front porch at the open house. That's where I start my rapport building. So you can't, I have my green little camping chair there. I had a cooler right beside me with water. I have water bottles, and, I'm sitting there greeting them when they're getting out of their car. I'm sitting on the front porch. Now, I know that it can be really hot and really cold. If it's really bad, then I would normally be inside where that, if there's an office, a front office. But then when I see a car pull up, I'm going to go open up the door, right? And another thing, if you know that an open house is going to be really busy in a high traffic area, bring a lender with you, team up with another agent, right? So that you do have an opportunity to at least build some rapport with some people and ask for appointments. Now, you want to preview listings in the neighborhood. And I know I think it's kind of pockety where there is inventory and where there's not. In the very least, go to some new construction neighborhoods, or call, if there are any homes that are under contract, call the listing agent and say, hey, listen, I'm doing an open house, and I know your listing is right around the corner. Do you think the sellers would be okay if I just come through and do a quick preview? Because you really want to get a feel for what you're seeing in that general area, right? And if you're not familiar with it, drive around, see where the closest grocery store is, if there are any new restaurants that have popped up. But know a little bit about the area, because I tell you, there's nothing more embarrassing when you're doing an open house, when the people that are coming to visit the open houses know more about the neighborhood than you do if they don't live there. And by the way, all these mistakes that I'm talking about are that was me failing forward. That's why I created these and said, I've got to do my business differently. And so all these things I learned from, and market knowledge is power, right? And here's the thing, if you do an open house right, and it's a dud, and you only have 2 people that come through, it was a waste of time. They both had agents. Well, you know what? If you did your door knocking, if you invited the neighbors, if you did the neighborhood sneak peek, if you did some virtual open houses, and if you got that visibility online, there's always value in doing an open house. So, all right. So now we're at number 9, or no, I'm sorry, number 8. Not following up with open house visitors. So this is really, really important. So the next slide, but don't go to it yet, DJ, but just in a second. So the next slide, I give you my open house system. It is a lather, rinse, repeat. So just so you know, I don't set up anybody on a search unless I've met them belly to belly and I've done a consultation with them or a listing presentation. And because I'm shooting for the appointment, because seriously, can we really set up a search for somebody because they walked in and they said, we want 3 bedrooms and 2 baths? Is that enough information? No. And I think about the people that became buyers that I worked with or sellers who I met at an open house who probably had 5 searches set up by other agents who set them up on searches, but I was the one that asked them for the appointment at the open house and they became my clients. I hope that makes sense. It's, you know, just make sure, because you want to come from value. And I don't set up. And if they, say, well, hey, just set me up on a search, I say, there's a lot more involved than how many bedrooms and how many baths. I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't hear more about what you need. So let's set up a time to meet, because I want to hear more about exactly what you're looking for. How about tomorrow at 12 or Wednesday at 5, right? And you're going to keep calling your open house visitors until you get an appointment. Now, the ones I don't get an appointment for, I'm going to set them up on drips, but that's just me, not with home searches. So I'm not going to send them searches, but I will keep them up to date. Okay. If you don't mind going to the next slide, thank you. And I know this isn't really big, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Monday is on the far left in case you can't see it. And then you see Saturday and Sunday. Y'all, everything in green is a lead generation activity for open houses. And so if you look on Saturday and Sunday, I've got the big green boxes. I like doing 3-hour open houses because I'm like, if I'm going to work this hard during the week doing open houses, I'm going to milk it for all the time. And so typically I would do 12 to 3 or 4 to 7 in the summer. Y'all would not believe how many people I picked up between 6 and 7 o'clock. Because guess what? All the new home neighborhoods close their offices at 6. So they would see my signs and they'd say, oh, look, there's an open house. We'll go in there. So you do your open houses. They're the big green boxes, right? Then you sit down Sunday night, you write your thank you notes, you catch up on your shows, and you put everybody in your database. Monday morning, you go ahead and call everybody, even if you just get a voicemail. Hey, it's Mary Lou Dingman from MLD Real Estate. We met at the open house yesterday. We did not set up an appointment, but I'm going to keep in touch with you. I know you said your timeline was out, and I'll keep you posted for any other open houses I do in the future, right? Put your thank you notes in the mail. See those dark green boxes on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Those are my prearranged slots for open houses. So then on Thursday morning, I'm going to look through the seller records. If I have a circle prospecting tool, I'm going to try to get in touch with the neighbors and start inviting them to the open house coming up for that following weekend, right? Friday morning, I'm calling everybody that has come through one of my open houses that has not set an appointment. Hey, it's Mary Lou Dingman with MLD Real Estate. I met you 2 weeks ago at 123 Main Street. Guess what? I've got another open house at 456 Park Avenue. I'm going to send you a link so you know where to find me. I would love to see you again this weekend. What if the house doesn't even match what they're looking for? I've made a touch with them. I have a reason that I've called them. So then either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, I am putting out my signs and door knocking. You can do it either or. And then y'all, I'm making fun of us, but I even put time in there for you to eat lunch, right? Because we as agents were saying, I don't have time to eat. I built in lunchtime. So you've got time to eat lunch. And then you see that 30-minute sneak peek on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and then going straight into the open house. And then it is a cycle. It's lather, rinse, repeat. This is your open house system. So every Friday, you are calling anybody. So, of course, that list could really grow. Tell me, are they going to remember you if they're hearing from you once a week? If they get a card from you in the mail, because they'll probably get the card by Wednesday if you put it in Monday morning's mail, and you're still sending them, any market updates or anything like that you have in your CRM. Okay.
I'd like to pause for a second and mention, Mary Lou, you have two specific tasks here that I think, I'm guessing 99% of agents who do open houses do not do. Number one, the handwritten thank you. Guys, people do not get handwritten thank yous anymore. It is not a thing. So when you send one to somebody or when you receive one, think of how good that feels. We get, on average, the average human, it's probably less than this now, but 5 years ago, the average person in this country receives one handwritten note a year. So it's probably less than that now. So just even doing that is going to separate you from probably all the other agents in your area. But then the other thing she mentioned, which I've not heard anybody say, is calling the person that you met at the previous one to invite them to the next one. How brilliant is that? Now, obviously, if it's not going to meet their needs, you're not going to invite them. Or maybe you could say, hey, I've got this other one. It's not going to be a perfect fit for you guys, but if you know anyone that might be a fit for, I'm going to send you a link. Please pass it along. But just calling and inviting somebody every week to an open house, that's a brilliant idea because it's going to keep you in front of it. No one else is doing that.
And, let me tell you, DJ, what's so funny is because I blast open houses so much, my friends, my sphere that I haven't seen in a couple of years, if I am doing an open house in their area, they'll come see me. Guess what? I've now made a reconnection with somebody in my sphere of influence. That's a touch. That's a contact. And of course, I'm going to ask them, hey, what questions do you have for me? What do you need to know about real estate? Is there anybody in your world that I can help with real estate? There's just so many good opportunities, so much goodness to spread all over the place. All right. So now we are almost there. So not inviting neighbors to the open house. So I've talked about that quite a bit. You're building your database by inviting neighbors. You are lead generating for listings, y'all, when you do that. And block your calendar to circle prospect. If you don't have a circle prospecting tool or phone numbers, why not go into the tax records, look up the sellers, send them a connection request through social media. What's the worst that can happen? They don't accept it. You know what? Then if they do, then you can create an event. You can create, like on Facebook, you can do an event for doing a sneak peek. You can send out invitations to them. So just make sure that you are maximizing the fact that you can lead generate for listings by doing that open house, and make sure you do that sneak peek. All right. Number 10, it's all about sellers. That's pretty much what I'm preaching here towards the end. Is number 10 is not seeing open houses as a way to attract sellers. So if you want to go ahead and flip the slide, DJ, that'll be the last one that I've got. Whoop, not that one. Go back one more. Sorry. Make sure that you are building your database, that you can ask for the listing appointment at the open house. Find out how long have they been in the neighborhood. Show your value when you door knock, as we talked about earlier, doing CMAs, doing a market analysis for that neighborhood. You've got all of that at your fingertips. So this is the end of my presentation, but I mean, I'm a coach, DJ. So can we go to the next slide? This is a coaching moment that I want to make sure that everybody does. So what I want, and I know you're familiar with the KISS because we do this in the locker room. So with everything that you just heard, I hope that it was of value. and you could also do this for the two earlier presenters. I want you to write down, what are you going to keep doing? What are you going to be more intentional about regarding open houses? What are you going to stop doing? What's not working in your favor? And what are you going to start doing? If you come up with that plan, give it a little bit of thought after we're done with all of this, and just implement it for the next 30 to 60 to 90 days, I promise you, you will see a change in your open houses. So that's what I've got for all of this. So what y'all got for me? That's what I need to know.
Well, I would like to ask you how you recommend an agent who is newer approaches an agent who has a listing in their office to ask for open houses. What are some do's and don'ts?
Okay, I like that question. I will tell you this. If you are in a brokerage that has training for you and that offers you that, plug in and do it. Okay. Because when they see that you're hungry, they're going to be more likely to do that. I personally would do it. If you want to build a good relationship, I would try being face to face, I think, or voice notes. Voice notes are pretty cool now. You can leave a voice note on the phone. It's just a step above a text, but I would just say, "Hey, I just got some amazing open house training on a podcast. I am soaking in all the knowledge that I can, and I see that you have this listing, and I would love to do an open house at that listing." A lot of a lot of bigger agents, they may have some criteria that they want you to meet. They have standards of what they expect for you to do. And if they have standards, make sure that you follow those standards, because they have a way that they want their listings marketed. But you know what, y'all, it's no different than asking for an appointment at the open house. We are in the business of, if we don't ask for it, we won't get it. So just know that you are going through the training, you are soaking up all the knowledge, and not only do you want to help buyers and sellers, but you're in business with that agent in your office, and you can create such a great win-win. So I would just be very transparent and say, listen, I'm soaking in the knowledge. I would love to hold an open house for you.
And I would also suggest, that's great advice. I would also suggest to have a written down plan so that you can share that
Yes.
with the agent to say, I just want you
Mm.
to know, here's what I plan to do for your listing. I have 10 things I'm going to do, or 15, whatever it might be.
Yes.
I'm going to start doing this on Wednesday. I'm going to go all the way through the week. And, we're going to get the neighbors involved. We're going to, and, you do this and the person is going to say, wow, this person's got a plan. They know what they're doing. And yeah, sure, go ahead, go nuts. Or maybe they will
Yeah.
do it with you. Maybe they'll code list. They'll do an open house with you.
It could be. Absolutely. Absolutely. And y'all, I've had open houses where nobody showed up, and I've had open houses where 20 people show up. But I'll tell you this, and I used to wait tables. If you've ever waited tables, the busier you are, the more of a zone you get in, and you just flow, and it just becomes really natural. It's like this rhythm. And so when you're doing an open house, and if you make this rapport with somebody, you say, "Hey, listen, I want to meet with you." You'll find yourself becoming more bold because you're navigating a lot of conversations, and you say, almost like you said, I have an idea. I have an idea. When I'm done with this open house, I'm going to call you, okay? And we'll talk about that idea. So it doesn't matter how many people you have. You can find at least one person that you can ask for an appointment.
Yeah, I think, open houses, look, they take time. They're a process. I understand that it's not as easy as posting a social media, maybe even filming a social media video might be even be easier than hosting an
Yes.
open house. So we understand this takes time, but I promise you this works. I will tell you right now, I do have a license. I've never technically used my license. So for all purposes, I am not really a practicing agent. I'm just not. In fact, when I bought my last property, I had to have my boss do it for me because I was like, How do I do this?" So even though I have a license and I have this podcast that's fairly popular, the reality of it is I still need help. But the reason, really, what I'm going to tell you here is this is kind of funny. So my girlfriend and I are kind of talking next steps, and we are, discussing what we want to do as far as, our the rest of our lives and where we want to live and move. And just as of last week, we were talking about moving out to a suburb, a very close suburb to the city. We live in the city now, and we're thinking about, children and what we would have to do to get in an area with good schools. And we started, even though we are about 9 months away from actually purchasing a property in that area. She's like, I'm going to pull up some open houses. Let's just go and see what they are ahead of time. So let's just get familiar with the area. So people do this. This is something, and again, I won't really need an agent because I work here. But if I didn't work here, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be going there. I wouldn't have an agent, and I would need to talk to somebody. So the only way we are going to get familiar with that area is through open houses. So I hope there's open houses in that area. It's actually going to be super helpful for me because you can get a lot of understanding through the videos and the pictures that are in the MLS listing. But I need to see the neighborhood. I need to see
Mhm.
exactly kind of how the property is situated. And we're buying like a single family home. So this is something that's, in a condo, it's maybe a little different, but for single family homes, boy, for any type property, you really need to be there. And so I need open houses because I need to figure out what neighborhoods to live in and that. So this is something that people really, really need. So even if you're like, yeah, it's a little bit of a headache, it's a lot of work, it's like, no, you're doing a huge service to people. And by the way, you're going to get clients along the way.
And I've actually broken it down and have done some math. So with open houses, with that calendar that I had, it's probably about 21 hours of work a week. And I have done the math with a reasonable average price point. And what I figured out is it's pretty much like a part-time job. So if you took a part-time job and the employer said, all right, so we want you to work 22 hours a week. You're going to talk to people. You're going to be in some houses. You might be doing a little driving around. And guess what? You're going to make $125,000 in gross commission income. Does that work for you?
Uh,
I
it, it,
mean,
it works for me. I think that's amazing for a part-time job.
yes, exactly.
Awesome.
So,
And again, the brilliance of it is you don't even have to have listings to do it. You can literally do this if you're day one in the business. Now, again, you're going to have to be persistent. You're going to have to earn your way into some of these agents' lives to allow you, because as Mary Lou said, a lot of them have standards, they have a reputation to uphold. So you're going to have to get to know them and say, what can I do to uphold your standards? I want to make sure that I'm representing your brand appropriately. And of course, you're going to want to do that. But people want you to do this. Most agents don't really want to do open houses. They just don't want to. It's a lot of time. It's like Mary Lou said, it's really like a part-time job. But you're taking work off their plate. It makes them look good to the seller, and also it's giving you opportunity as well. So open houses are the key. They really are. I promise you, I've interviewed hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of
mhm.
top 1% agents. Not one, maybe one told me they don't do open houses. I don't even remember one saying that, but I'll
Yep.
just assume there's probably one outlier. But I'm telling you, 99.99% of them do open houses, and there's a reason they do. Amy Dwan Kim, top 1%er here, does 2 to 4 open houses for every single listing, and she's
Yep.
like, the more the merrier. So
Mhm.
guys, so Mary Lou is available. I want everybody to reach out to her. We will be sending her information out. She's going to be reaching out to you as well, as a
Yep.
thank you for coming here. She's got some giveaways for you, so we're going to get her your information. She is going to get that over to you, so be on the lookout for information. She is an amazing coach. Everybody needs a coach. Every
Mm.
professional athlete, I've had a lot of them on my show. Guess what? They all have coaches. We all know that.
Yep.
And then we think, well, if like the most elite athletes need coaches, like I probably need a coach too. And I have a coach. I have coaches for lots of different parts of my business and personal life. It's really helpful. You can't do everything yourself. You're not supposed to do everything yourself. And coaches actually help you do better. So I really encourage you to, check out Mary Lou, check out Kim. She was the social media coach prior to this. And, all we are just big fans of coaching. Coaching is the way that, the way forward. So check out Mary Lou at the tlrnation.com is the locker room. I will send you guys more information about that too. And we really appreciate everyone's time today. I hope this was useful. I am so grateful to all of our guests, Mary Lou, Kim, and Amy. Thank you so much. And our sponsor, A&N Mortgage. Thank you for helping make this happen. Couldn't have done it without you. We will be doing this again in a month. So thanks everyone out there. And, please let us know what you'd like to see on these webinars. What's a topic? Where's a
Mhm.
challenge? Where are you getting stuck right now? This is tough market, guys. Where are you getting stuck? You're stuck. Everybody's stuck somewhere. I'm stuck. You're
Mhm.
stuck. We all have sticking points. Where are we finding frustration? That's what we can help you get past. So I will be reaching out to each one of you individually too to find out your sticking point, and I'm going to offer you a resource, possibly a podcast episode or a handout. I'm going to get you something as a thank you for helping me with this webinar today. So in the next week, you'll hear from me as well. All right, everybody, we will see you on the next webinar and the next episode. Mary Lou, thank you. And I want everybody to
Thank you.
follow her on social. We're going to hear her information and reach out to her and schedule a coaching session. She will get you to the next level. All right. See everyone on the next webinar. Thanks, guys. Go enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.